right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Pedestrian problems. Tonight, major safety concerns along a major city street as accidents pile up.
Scary and unsettling every time. Seems like it just never ends.
The push now for safer roads.
Finally, we're done with the rain, but now we're talking about cold air. A freeze warning in place from 4 to 9 a.m. on Monday morning, and it may not be the only cold day. We'll talk about more areas under a freeze watch and just how cold it's going to get.
Our top story, a tragic accident. A fallen firefighter honored for his bravery. The special community tribute for a teenage hero. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Tonight, a heartbroken community honored a 16-year-old volunteer firefighter killed Friday while responding to a flash flood emergency. Just hours ago, firefighters from across the region stood at attention during the dignified transfer of Chevy Gall. Our Annie Krall was on that story. We'll have her report in just a moment. We're finally drying out after days of heavy rains and flooding. Tonight, weather impact meteorologist Gary Frank is tracking freeze warnings to start the second week of April.
Yeah, hard to believe we transitioned from, seems like, talking about snow to all of a sudden tornadoes and wind every week, and now all of a sudden we've got freeze warnings, and that's what we're looking at the moment. We still are hanging on to cloud cover, which is important for especially this part of the area. You'll notice in Herman and areas off to the northwest, we're not seeing those clouds quite as much. A couple of sprinkles maybe around. They're almost out of here completely. The back edge of that cloud cover starting to work its way north of Rolla, and that's important because notice our temps in the city, mid to upper 40s, even 41 in Edwardsville, but look at those 30s in Kirksville, and I know it's always colder in Kirksville, but it's clear there, and that's what we're seeing. We're losing that insulator, and that's where we're going to see our temperatures drop here as we look at Monday morning's freeze warning once again. That includes a lot of Missouri counties for the most part, not St. Charles or St. Louis County, simply because of the cloud cover, and you're more in the city. So for the rest of the next several hours, expect us to fall into the mid-30s, but there will be some cold weather Monday and Tuesday with freeze potential. If you see even colder weather on Tuesday, I think area wide, we'll talk about that. But if you have some sensitive plants right now, you're watching us, bring those inside. We've got a couple of days, then it warms up. That's what we'll talk about here shortly, and we track our next chance of rain and what's in store for us the rest of the week.
As we mentioned at the top, fire trucks lined the 57-mile procession route to the medical examiner's office to Washington, Missouri, where Chevy Gall served just 6 months. 5 on your side's Annie Krall spoke with those who knew this young man and the lasting impact he leaves behind.
Driving south on highways like 270 on Sunday afternoon, it was nearly impossible not to see the line of fire trucks and ambulances showing solidarity for fallen firefighter Chevy Gall.
The fire service is a big family in of itself. When something like this happens, we all come together, regardless of the agency you work for or where in the region you might be.
The 16-year-old volunteer firefighter was killed Friday on his way to help with a water rescue. The Beaufort-Leslie Fire Protection District, which serves 120 square miles in Franklin County, said Gall was driving his personal car on Highway 50 near Missouri 185 when he got into a car crash. He was taken to Mercy Washington Hospital and pronounced dead. The driver of the other car was taken to a nearby hospital. That man has since been released. This show of support is just a fraction of the honors firefighter Gall will be receiving this week. In addition, at least one firefighter has stayed with his body since Friday, whether at the medical examiner's office or here at this Washington funeral home. Several first responders from throughout the region came out to honor him, including Captain Matt Coppin with Metro West Fire Protection District.
When you join the fire service, you become part of that family. So it doesn't matter if you're a 30-year veteran of the fire service or you're just beginning your career, you're instantly in that family, and as such, you receive all that support and encouragement from the fire service.
It's the first line of duty death in the department's history. Gall was enrolled in vocational training at Four Rivers Career Center, studying auto collision repair. He was also a student at Union High School. Gall's family saying in a statement, quote, "We want to express our deepest thanks to the bystanders who stopped to lend aid at the crash scene, the members of the Beaufort-Leslie Fire Protection District, and the Gerald Ambulance District for their support, care, and compassion. Chevy was proud to serve his community, and we are shattered by his loss." Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
A funeral and memorial services for Gall are expected this week as details become finalized. The Missouri State Highway Patrol is leading the investigation into Friday's fatal crash. Right now, we're learning more about a deadly shooting in Sullivan, Missouri. The Crawford County Sheriff's Office says a person was found shot to death on Highway WW. One man was arrested in connection with the crime. We're going to continue to follow this story on air and online at KSDK.com. Tonight, a man faces charges after allegedly stabbing his mother to death. Police say they found a 79-year-old woman dead from multiple stab wounds inside her home yesterday morning on Salaberry Court in Lake St. Louis. Just hours later, her son, Adam Kristoff, was arrested in another state. He is now charged with second-degree murder. The Major Case Squad is still investigating the crime. A suspect now in custody in connection to a deadly hit-and-run that killed a bicyclist on Gravois last Tuesday. St. Louis police say the arrest was made possible thanks to tips from the community. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski spoke with some cyclists in the area where a memorial has popped up for the victim.
Mike, there is now a ghost bike memorial on Gravois at Bamberger where the victim, Jason Lewis, was hit. I talked with bicyclists today who are heartbroken every time tragedies like this happen.
Last Tuesday, just before 8 p.m., St. Louis police say 27-year-old Jason Lewis was riding his bike down Gravois when he crossed near Bamberger and got hit by a Ford Edge SUV that left the scene. Lewis was thrown into the westbound lane of Gravois where 3 other vehicles hit him. 2 of those drivers did stay at the scene and cooperated with the investigation. Police released pictures of the SUV and after several community tips, arrested and charged the driver, 29-year-old Tamaris Buckner. Court documents say Buckner denies being in the accident, but GPS information puts her vehicle at the intersection when it happened.
My jaw dropped when I saw that there had been 27 violations, traffic violations by this hit and run driver since 2023, which I think is still just like 2 years ago. That just really hit me, and I hope people sit with how we need to be holding drivers accountable.
That's Evie Hemphill. She's an avid cyclist and works in the community. She says when she heard about this tragedy, she was heartbroken.
Immediately, I'm thinking of friends who live in that area and bike a lot there, and scary and unsettling every time. Seems like it just never ends.
There is now a bike memorial or ghost bike on Gravois for Lewis, which is where I met Chris Cleland, another cyclist in the area.
It's tragic. You know, people are out just getting around or enjoying themselves just like anybody else, and something occurs. Sometimes it's an accident, but a lot of times it's just a bad choice.
They say the area can be dangerous and tough to navigate with unpredictable drivers.
My goal when I get on Gravois is to get off of Gravois.
There's a sense that the lights are optional, so even when I finally get that 5-second green, I really can't count on being safe even for those 5 or 6 seconds.
Both say while changes to dangerous streets are important, enforcement would go a long way.
We all deserve to get where we're going safely. We've got to do better.
Buckner is charged with leaving the scene of an accident causing death and is being held without bond. Investigators say she later admitted to drinking and ingesting marijuana on the day of the crash.
Right now, a 16-year-old is in the hospital after being shot just blocks away from Busch Stadium. Police say it happened just before 2 o'clock this morning after a fight broke out in a bar near 10th and Spruce. 2 men started shooting, sending people running to the couple's parking garage. That's where witnesses noticed the teen was hit, so they rushed him to the hospital. Police have not released his exact condition, but do say he is stable tonight. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. The polls will open in Missouri in less than 32 hours for the municipal elections, and you still have time to vote ahead of Decision Day. Tomorrow is the last day for no-excuse absentee voting. Voters can cast their ballots at their local Board of Elections office or at satellite polling places. A reminder, you must bring a valid photo ID to vote. We're going to have live coverage of the Missouri municipal election starting at 7 p.m. on Tuesday on the 5+ streaming app. You can watch for free on your TV. Just download the app on your Roku, Apple, or Fire TV. Today, thousands of kids capped off a months-long program with a marathon in Forest Park. The Read, Write, and Run Marathon encourages kids to read 26 books, do 26 good deeds, and run 26 miles over 26 weeks. Today's event serves as the last mile of the run. Over 100,000 students have joined the challenge since it started in 2001.
Recycling Revolution. Meet the preschooler schooling his class on how to save the planet.
Because I like recycling.
His pickup push spreading a cleaning craze among his classmates.
My kids are telling me I need to recycle because if I don't, Will's going to hear about it.
Now that we talk about that colder air that settled in from Monday and Tuesday, there is a freeze potential for a lot of our areas. Bring those sensitive plants inside. We'll talk about who's most likely to get a hard freeze and if this is the last cold weather of the season.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
Sometimes the smallest voices speak the loudest. In tonight's Making a Difference report, meet the pint-sized crusader who's turning trash talk into action.
We are going to find out where garbage goes, right?
At Clayton Early Childhood Center, the future looks bright and surprisingly well sorted.
What do they have to
sort
do?
it out.
And to what? Where do they put it on?
Meet Will Berry.
And they make it into new things on different conveyor belts.
At 5 years old, his footprints are still small.
So, let's see.
But when it comes to saving the planet,
Ooh, this old plastic.
he steps ahead of the rest of us.
These will actually take a little much toothpaste.
Business manager Ann Brady found that out when Will stopped by with an unusual request.
We get a lot of Amazon deliveries, and Will used to stop by the desk and he would ask every evening, do you have any cardboard boxes? He has a passion for recycling.
While most preschoolers are captivated by dinosaurs or superheroes, Will's fascination comes in a less glamorous package, with wheels and a hydraulic lift.
It's because I like garbage trucks so much because I like the dumping and unpacking of them working.
His father, Patrick, says this isn't just a passing phase between trains and race cars.
We started on this trash adventure when he was really little, and he's been on it and just keeps growing.
By age 3, Will's birthday wish wasn't for toys or a bounce house, but something that might make other kids hold their noses.
We were actually able to convince Waste Management to come to his birthday party.
Wait a second, he had a birthday party at Waste Management?
Well, yeah, Waste Management brought a truck here, actually.
Recycling bins now stand proudly in classrooms as Will's classmates have joined the cause.
So that's what we're doing. We're trying to help our environment.
But Ann still remembers that first mission.
Will and I decided to make a trip over to the recycling bin in the park, and we've been doing it ever since.
Come on, get the wheels going.
Don't let his height fool you. This kindergartner-to-be can explain the entire waste management ecosystem with surprising clarity.
And where do they take the trash?
To the landfill and dump.
And where do they take the recycling?
To the recycle facility.
And Will's commitment runs so deep, he authored his own illustrated guide to garbage collection just for me.
Thank you very much. You're very talented.
Perhaps the most impressive thing about this pint-sized environmental crusader, who even dressed as a waste collector for Halloween, is how he's inspiring others.
I've had parents come up to me and say, hey, my kids are telling me I need to recycle because if I don't, Will's going to hear about it.
Yeah. Let's get the big stuff out and then dump the tiny stuff.
As Will prepares to take his talents to kindergarten, his environmental mission isn't going anywhere.
They'll figure it out just like this goes.
In Clayton, a 5-year-old is showing us all that saving the planet isn't child's play.
Are you going to run to the dumpster?
But maybe it should be.
And Will's dad says he never forgets to put out the trash on Thursday nights because Will is there to always remind him. And a reminder for you, if you know an inspiring person or someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com. Today, Six Flags St. Louis officially opened for its 2025 season. The park was set to open yesterday. However, this weekend's flooding forced the park to delay the opening. Right now, Six Flags is offering discounted season passes, but you better hurry because the deal expires in just a few hours. Hurricane Harbor is set to open later in May. Meteorologist Gary Frank rejoins us now with the weather impact forecast. It looks like a quieter but colder week ahead, Gary.
Yeah, especially to start the next couple of days, right? We haven't had that in a while. We've had a little, that means we get a break from the severe weather, right? If it's cold, there's no severe weather. So that's at least a positive here. We are starting to dry out. You'll see that cloud cover and rain, a system that took forever, is finally exiting. And with it, it's taken this cloud cover. You'll see the back edge of the cloud cover from Herman, even into St. Louis as well. The back edge now has worked its way from Pike County into Troy. It's coming in. You can see the stars now, and we're going to clear out. And as a result, over the next couple of hours, as we continue to do that, we'll lose our insulator. Those clouds act as a blanket of sorts, and we're already starting to see our temperatures fall to some degree. 43 in Alton, 37 in Warrenton, 39 in Chesterfield. Those are spots that are going to get below freezing pretty easily tonight. But even if you're not involved in that freeze warning, and there are spots that aren't, especially in the city, but you know where you get a little bit cooler, prepare for that. Further west, you've cleared out. You've got a cooler air mass from 4 to 9 a.m. We're into that freeze warning. That's the first part of things on Monday morning. As we look at our temperatures here, they'll continue to warm up pretty quickly in the afternoon before our next front arrives. So expect our temps to fall once again. I do think Tuesday morning is going to be colder. We have every area is under a freeze watch. And here's why. I think as we look at our growing seasons, on average, frost and hard freeze, you typically look at our last freeze around April 8th in the city. And then when you look at St. Charles, where it's a little further out of the city, it is also April 8th, but April 20th for frost. And so our hard freeze is starting to work its way out, the latest being April 9th. So I don't think we're going to get quite that cold again, but watch this front that moves in by Monday night. And that's where I think we're going to see our temperatures fall. Look how they fall into the upper 20s and low 30s. I do expect it will be cold, so keep that in mind. After that, we'll rebound pretty nicely each day. I do want to have another check on the rivers because this is going to be something that we continue to monitor. From Valley Park at 22, 27 in Eureka still forecasted as all that stuff continues to go in, even though it's drier, 28 and 32.5 feet. As we look at some of the other rivers, Current River from Donovan, Beth shared this as the Current River is kind of closing down a lot of roads in the town. You're seeing a lot more of this. So make sure you check in. And this is just one example here. As you look in Franklin County of some of this here, there's a lot of water on some of these smaller areas as well. That's going to be something I know Paul's monitoring for you in the morning tomorrow with some of those roads as we start to see that water recede. I am optimistic Wednesday into Thursday isn't a ton of rain. It doesn't look like much right now. And really, as I scan this through the middle of the month, we're only looking at about 1/3 of an inch. That's positive. It could be a little higher, but it's not going to be anything like what we just had. So for the next few days, freeze or frost in the morning for some of us, mid-50s each afternoon. We balloon to the upper 60s, and then it's cooler before we warm up by the tail end of the weekend as our rain chances remain fairly low.
Hey, it's time to go on the move. I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guy from Today in St. Louis. I've been on the hunt for the solution to our pothole problem, and I may just have found it. It's a homegrown fix developed by a company right here in Washington, Missouri.
We have a pothole problem around the country, the world, but especially in St. Louis. This is a timely issue for us to be showcasing the solution that's not just in a bag of mix. It's in the soybean fields here in Missouri.
You heard it, soybeans. Biospan Technologies works with departments of transportation, municipalities, private sector companies, all to extend the life of pavement.
This is what saves taxpayer dollars, it saves company budgets, and it saves a lot of carbon as well. Our company has been around for over 30 years, but I feel like we're the best kept secret that everyone needs to know about, but especially in St. Louis.
An innovation like that could help limit the impact of these craters on your day and on your car.
Anyone could do this, anyone should be doing this. And this is the glue that bonds to the existing asphalt matrix.
The company says its product is safe for the environment and it will increase the demand for soybeans, which will be a big boost for local farmers. Here's hoping those pothole minefields we deal with every spring will soon be a problem of the past. Stay safe out there. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
Wedding worries. See how an international trade war could make your big day cost bigger bucks. The Trump administration's newest tariffs are sparking reactions worldwide. More than 50 countries hit with a 10% tariff are now reaching out to the White House to begin negotiations. President Trump said earlier this week these tariffs will help make the country, quote, wealthy again. Right now, though, economists worry this trade war could put us into a recession as the stock market fell nearly 4,000 points since Wednesday. Some locals are starting to fear the impact of a possible recession. 5 on your side went to the Wedding Guide Bridal Expo in St. Peter's today, spoke to couples and business owners. All of them say they're worried the trade war will increase prices for catering, flowers, and wedding dresses. The event organizers say reaching out to the community can help find better solutions.
We're bringing people that are willing, to help you out during that process, because it'd be tough, it's stressful, but just to have one day dedicated for 4 hours where you're networking, and it also gives you time to network with vendors as well as other brides to learn things from them as well.
It's still too early to tell what the exact financial impact will be on wedding services. New tonight, Texas health officials say another child with the measles has died. The hospital says the child was school-aged and not vaccinated against the disease. So far, close to 500 people in Texas have been diagnosed with the measles since January. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. visited West Texas today. He says to show support for the child's family. Today, Pope Francis made his first public appearance after battling double pneumonia. The pontiff visited a Jubilee Mass for the sick at the Vatican. The Pope was released from the hospital 2 weeks ago after more than 5 weeks of treatment. His medical team originally said he would need more than 2 months of rest before returning to work. Mom on a mission. How one woman's call to the community helped her son's birthday wish come true. A Springfield, Missouri mom put on an unforgettable birthday party for her son. 11-year-old Zach has trouble making friends due to his ADHD, so his mom put out a neighborhood-wide invitation to his birthday party, and dozens answered. More than 50 kids showed up to play with Zach, and more simply just drove by to drop off gifts and wish him a happy birthday. His mom says she hopes more parents will speak up if their kids need help making friends.
It's okay to ask for help when you need it, whether it's if you're going through a struggle or if you're just needing some friends to come to a birthday party. The community will help, but they won't know to help if you don't ask.
Zach says he has made multiple new friends at the party, and his favorite part was the car show his mom organized. And Gary has one final check of the weather.
Yeah, let's prepare tomorrow morning and Tuesday morning, especially for some cold weather. I mean, we're going to start off in the upper 20s, low 30s for the most part. I think Tuesday is our colder day, which is why I've highlighted it. It will be this cold for some communities tomorrow morning. Check in with Anthony at 4 a.m.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+. Sports Plus with Frank Cusimano is next, but don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis.